So in a way we could put the response, I wonder whether you'd accept this, she's gained something. She's gained, as you put it, a new capacity, a new ability, but what she hasn't gained is knowledge of any proposition. It wasn't as if there was a proposition about reality, which before she didn't know and now she does know.
Yes, good, yeah, I like that.
Okay, thank
you. I wanted to ask you a question about the doctrine known as functionalism, the idea that the relation between the mind and the brain is like the relation between a computer's software and a computer's hardware. You have expressed one or another kind of sympathy with 3 of the 4 great tough-minded isms in the philosophy of mind. You've had some sympathy with behaviorism, although perhaps only as a heuristic. A great deal of sympathy with physicalism, the identification of mental states with brain states, and some sympathy with eliminativism, the view that mental states can simply be repudiated. But there is this 4th tough-minded doctrine, namely functionalism, this idea that in some sense we're computers and our mental states can be thought of as computational states. I wonder if you could comment on that.
Well, I think of functionalism as an important and indispensable aspect of what functionalism looks to as being that. It's evident throughout the sciences that you can do you can go farther than is rewarding in the way of seeking out ultimate causes. You don't have to get down to, in fact, it's not at all fruitful to get down to particle physics in order to explain economic trends. In the scale of more and more complexity, physical complexity, of bodies or systems or regions of space-time. There are various levels, different stopping places, which are most useful and fruitful for systematizing and predicting certain sorts of things, and that's why we have the special sciences, in spite of holding a physicalistic reductivism in the sense that you think that whatever happens in the world is ultimately a matter of the states of physical states of points in space-time, and that's where I think that's the place of functionalism. So I don't. So what I find good in functionalism doesn't conflict with any of the other 3.
Well, but there is another, I see what you mean, and I agree with what you say, but there is another reason for taking functionalism seriously, which is that it has a claim to locate the scientific nature of, for example, thought. So suppose we have a human thinking, and the human has a brain, and what's going on is neurons firing. And then we also have a machine thinking, and what's going on is electrical impulses in transistor chips. From a physical point of view, these are quite different. So if they're both thinking, we might reasonably want to say that the scientific essence of thought isn't to be found at the physical level, say at the level of chemicals or molecules, but the scientific nature of thought is to be found at the computational level.
Good. Well, yes, and I don't think that is at all incompatible with my view, my suggestion, because well, I think of Aristotle's conception of the mind or the soul as the form of the body. This would be a matter of thinking of thought as one aspect of the behavior of physical objects, of the organism or of the parts, physiological parts of the organism. One aspect of their organization, that is, thought is a matter of their organization. And then when we want to get down to the scientific, physical basis, cause of the thoughts in turn, further analysis, we do so. But as in the case of economics versus particle physics, we can go a good way without plumbing to that extent. So I think that to view functionalism as somehow ultimate or in competition with these other views, that may be of a piece with giving up the objective of reduction to ultimate physical reality in favor of regarding the various levels of science as autonomous. And this is this view philosophically I find unwelcome because of the loss of integration, and the loss of simplicity and economy.
Done? Ned's just been walking us through some of the great isms, and there's one more I'd like to mention. This is the view of the mind associated with Donald Davidson, anomalous monism. So the view roughly is that each particular datable mental occurrence can be identified with a particular physical occurrence, but there aren't going to be any generalizations linking the physical and the mental domains, or at least no generalizations which have the status of laws. What's your feeling about this view?
Yes, I share this view, at least to a very considerable extent. I think perhaps a more detailed account of my relation to Don Davidson in this can be brought out by turning specifically to the propositional attitudes. And my latest position there is sympathetic to the propositional attitudes de dicto. That is where we're putting the statement of the formulation of the purported belief or whatever into the subjects we who are ascribing the belief are putting that formulation in, expressing it in the subject's language as best we can, in or a translation of it in which appeals to his ontology, confused or not, rather than our own. This I make sense of by treating the objects of belief as the actual linguistic forms, the sentences. Although the believer needn't speak English or any language, maybe a cat, but we're projecting ourselves in his position and saying the sort of thing that we think he, under these observable circumstances, would be saying, or what the attributor himself would be saying if he were in that situation and had the language. So there's de dicto, and the virtue of this treatment, from my point of view, is that it preserves extensionality. There's no problem of quantifying in, because you don't quantify in, and no problem of these opaque contexts. The quotation itself can all be resolved in terms. It's just a name for a string of marks or sounds, and so it can be analyzed down in terms of concatenation and names of individual letters or phonemes. And there's no problem, in short, in the logic of science when propositional attitudes de dicto are included. So insofar, I'm not having to take a double standard of anomalous monism. In order to preserve this attitude, I discard as inappropriate to as an overall scientific theory, although having its heuristic values, the scientific, the propositional attitudes de re.